Hey, good Monday morning, folks. I'm Live Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here. A cold week is on the way, so let's get on into it. I thought the most impressive record was actually Grand Rapids set a record low temperature, which is pretty hard to do in the dead of winter because we had some cold periods back in the 70s and even in the 50s. So I saw Grand Rapids down to minus 26, I do believe it was. Now, this is where we sit at the moment. Hey, good morning, Mike Predmore from Monroe. Good morning, Bill from Sterling Heights. John from Waterford. And good morning from Brandon, Michigan. Winter storm warning for those two counties in the far southwest corner of the state till 1 p.m. for heavy lake effect snow. Surrounding that, a snow advisory in the purple. Also in the tip of the thumb, snow advisory till 10 this morning. So the lake effect snow is winding down, and the blue that you see is a cold weather advisory. And of course, we all know that it is cold weather. Hey, Presqu'île checking in. Mason checking in. Adrian, good morning. And Freeport. Yes, we're having ourselves a real Michigan winter. All right, thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. So this is the current radar, and the only thing that you really see of note is quite a band of snow along the shoreline from Muskegon southward, and then a lake effect burst has moved off of Grand Traverse Bay, and that's moving east and dying out. And if we look at the general big picture on the satellite, you don't see any of the bright white clouds. So the storminess has let up as that main storm has moved off. Now, what I want to show you is that we do have a cold pattern still hanging in there, but I'm trying to also give you a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. And I thought I'd see a little bit more warming out into the future. So I'm going to be honest, you're going to have to pace your psyche to get through this. This is a cold week. So this is the upper airflow. What you'll see is several lobes of Arctic cold dropping into our region from aloft. And as we get to the last days of the week, Thursday, Friday, you'll see, I'll show you in a minute, we're going back down below zero. And then a modification, and I think that gets us into the 20s and probably a couple of days in the 30s, at least maybe the southern half of lower Michigan, but not until the first week of February, talking somewhere between February 2nd and 6th or so. So this is this Friday. Note that a storm is going to form in the southeast and turn into maybe the first nor'easter of the season, and that is right on time. You know, the 1st of February, the storm track typically has dipped south of Michigan. We're in the heart of the cold air, and then it comes back northward during the month of February or March. Now, this is February 3rd. So you see orange. Orange. What does that mean? What does that mean? The orange. Oh, not seeing my screen. I don't know what that is all about. Let me see here. Everything looks to be okay on my end. Okay. I think, Carter, you're frozen up maybe. All right, so what does this orange mean? It means that we could go to near normal temperatures. This is February 4th, February 5th, February 6th, and like I said, we still have the ridge out west, trough in the east, so it's still a cold pattern. And as we get into the 8th, 9th, 10th, it appears as though the cold starts to come back. I figured I'd show you the temperature anomalies. So this week we are all just cold. This is Friday morning. Again, 20, 25 degrees colder than normal. That gets us way below zero. This is Saturday and Sunday. The cold starts to let up. February 3rd, we could go to near normal, which would be about 28 to 30 degrees. February 4th, February 5th, February 6th. This is an ensemble, so it means all of the runs are averaging, to say this. And so, again, first week of February, we may get a couple of 30 to 35 degree days, and then the cold may ooze back in and send us below normal. Okay, now on the real terms of the weather, we've got the lake effect ending and breaking off and heading into the eastern side of the state this afternoon, just in the form of decorative snowflakes is what I usually say, but I think we've had enough decoration from Mother Nature, right? Okay, so then here is tomorrow, a weak Alberta Clipper. And then we go to tomorrow afternoon, the lake effect comes back. And this isn't like a widespread lake effect in this kind of pattern because it's so cold. And ice is building too, but not enough to end the lake effect. Basically, really not anything as far as a major snowstorm. So here's your little Alberta Clipper tomorrow. We all get snow showers. I'll show you the forecast in a moment. This is Thursday. This is Friday. This is Saturday. There's that nor'easter that may be trying to form. Heavy snow along the East Coast for the weekend if you're traveling that way. Still too early to pin it down. And then we go on to the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th of February. It's still nothing that's blockbuster because we continue with this Alberta Clipper pattern that's pretty dry on moisture. Okay, so tomorrow's Alberta Clipper, let's call it an inch, 2 inches in places along the shoreline from Traverse City to Manistee, Ludington, south to Muskegon, Grand Haven, South Haven. Let's call it 2 to 4 inches. As we go through the week, this is by Friday, the eastern 2/3, nothing. Western 2/3, you tack on an inch every day or so. There's the big snowstorm out east. And let's just run this out 16 days. And when you see 4 inches in Saginaw, 5 inches in Flint, 3 inches in Detroit, over 16 days, it's really a pretty light snow forecast. What isn't light is the cold. Here we go. So today in the teens for highs. Tomorrow in the teens, maybe single digits north. Wednesday, struggling to get into the teens. Thursday, maybe only single digits for a lot of us. Friday, maybe back down to another one of these cold Fridays. Saturday, Sunday, maybe approaching the mid-20s. Monday the 2nd. I've been keying in on Monday the 2nd. It's a little delayed, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily true. This model, we have to go out to the 5th and the 6th before we get above freezing. But that's why I say sometime in that time period. Now, look at these low temperatures. So tomorrow morning, you dip below zero again. Ann Arbor, Detroit, Jackson, Lansing, Kalamazoo. You're going to be the cold spots because the warmth is still kind of blowing off of Lake Michigan. Hey, thank you, Jim Luke. When's it going to get warm? Whew, Big Daddy. It's going to be, I don't know what you call warm, but when is it going to go for an extended stretch warmer than normal? Boy, it looks like after our few days of near 30 in early February, we go back to colder than normal. So it might be a month or so. This is Thursday. This is Friday. Friday morning looks really, really cold. Way down below zero. These are actual temperature forecasts. This is Saturday and Sunday. So we got a week of flirting with zero every morning. It's going to be, quite cold, it looks like. So there's your update. It's not really snow-filled everywhere. In fact, most of the state, not much snow this week. Along the shoreline of Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, yeah, over the whole week, 2 to 5 inches of snow. But all of us are going to have to continue to deal with the packed ice and snow on the roads because it will be so cold. Just no melting whatsoever, even in the sunshine. So there's your MLive morning weather update. Thanks for joining me. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and you have yourselves a great Monday. Stay warm.